Being a young entrepreneur today can be tough, right? This is not necessarily time to take too much risk. And one of the things that you talked about was that protective side, being cautious how you're investing and how you build your own business. But you spent quite a bit of time investing in young entrepreneurs. If I had an ambition to create something that's lasting, what's the advice that you would give to a young entrepreneur today?
I think you have to start from yourself. You better have a solid backbone. You know, as I always say, the one thing I like about certain people, including my wife, is she has a straight spine. You can never curve that spine. You know, she knows her value, she knows where she comes from. So I think you need to have that kind of strength. A good education helps if you can get one. I mean, everybody poo-poos MBAs. I was fortunate to get one. It was one of the first in this country being offered. My mentor was the one that pushed me to it. And I'm forever grateful. It was a great degree and I enjoyed it and it helped my business. I think you have to learn to park your ego. I mean, when I went out and started this business, my mentor gave me a list of about 12 of his peers to go and see. I got to tell you, it was an experience. Every single one of them was gracious, giving, giving me all the time in the world, and the respect was there. You wouldn't dare not respect these people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't dare not respect them, not just because that's the way my dad taught me, but it's because my mentor was that way. So having a mentor, I think, is important. If you can get one, you have to, but park your ego. Mm-hmm. If you start thinking you can sort of, as entrepreneurs, you know, get that fast car and all, forget it. Don't do it until you don't need to do it, and then you won't do it anyways. You know what I'm getting at. So that's part of it. I think you have to play to your strengths, and I think I've always believed in partnerships, just so you know. I've never been the better partner in a lot of cases in terms of the operations. So when I started the home building business in '85, my partner at that time could build you houses with his eyes closed. We were building 200-300 houses a year. That man knew where every nail went. So operationally, there's no way I could build a house the way he did. When we got into our technology business and the credit card processing, my partner, who came from Germany, I realized within 2 years he was way brighter than me at running that business. So I moved away and put him in charge. Operationally, I couldn't touch him. Even here now, I've got 2 junior partners. One's the marketing, one's the building. I don't even know if I want to ever touch that area. I don't think I have to, and I don't want to. That's their strength. So in every business, I've always had a good, solid operational partner who executes the day-to-day business. Let me alone, let me do my strategy, let me worry about the balance sheet, let me worry about the finance, let me worry about shaking hands with all the bald guys and all the successful women, whatever the case may be. I'll bring that credibility to the table, but let everybody else in here, or wherever the case may be, do what they do really well. I don't care if I ever see a site again. I actually don't go see a site. When we buy 6, 7, 8 buildings, I Google Earth them. I don't go visit them. What the hell am I going to visit? What is it that I'm going to bring to the table? Going to look at an industrial building that has a roof, 4 walls, windows, loading docks, parking lot, that these guys can't do way better than me. And at the end of the day, you're going to get reports from the engineers and consultants anyway. So what am I going to bring to the table? Mm-hmm. Other than how to finance it, how to get the financial partners who have been with me for 6, 7 years to come in and get involved in the project and deliver that credibility to the bankers, to my partners, to the employees, and to all the shareholders.
Have a straight spine, know what your values are, manage your ego, have a courage to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in the areas where you are not. Right? And give people the latitude to do their best work. Surround yourself with good partners.
If you're fortunate, get that damn great mentor who will invest time and energy with you. What I learned from that man about running a business, no MBA could teach me. Mm-hmm. But there's a relationship that I had to cultivate. It took me years to cultivate that relationship. And it wasn't just a mentor mentee relationship, if that's the word. I don't know what the hell the word is. It was like a father-son relationship. It really was. I mean, and every time he needed something as simple as a ride downtown because he hated to drive, I'd pick him up at 6 in the morning and take him to his lawyer's. Because I had him for half an hour on the way down, and I had him on half an hour on the way back. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Stopping in for coffee at his house at least once a week. At 6 in the morning, he'd already been through his swim, he was already dressed to go to work, he was just having his breakfast. I would walk in because I knew at 6 o'clock he'd be having breakfast. But he'd spent the next half hour having breakfast and talking to me about what life is about, what business is about, what families were about.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. The ownership of a mentoring relationship, if you will, has to reside with you, not with a mentor.
Yeah.
So demonstrating care, demonstrating respect, and being prepared to know how to capitalize on this relationship, because it's so very, very precious. In the research that we have done, interviewing mentors and mentees or proteges or whatever you call them, we see that mentors get out of a mentoring relationship as much as their mentees. In increased re-engagement, different perspectives that are being brought, different purpose that they are serving, etc., etc. Right? So, where do you find a good mentor? What are you looking for? What were you looking for in a mentor?
I think you have to have someone who can communicate with you, get down to your level, and not hold it or lord it over you. Like the thing about my mentor is I wasn't the only one. He had 3 or 4, I call them 3 or 4 young Turks. And by the way, they've all been immensely successful. I won't mention names, but some of these guys have run some of the biggest companies in Toronto now. So it was an interesting, I think what he got out of it was the energy that the young blood brought to his life. Because when I started my company, I was in my 20s, he was already in his late 50s. So he'd spend more time with me than he would with anybody else, including his own kids, which was interesting to watch. And we'd see each other socially every week at his house. We inevitably would go out and clean the dishes up, load the dishwashers, take the garbage out, but we talked. So I think you need somebody who can talk to you, somebody who gets a kick out of having you around, who likes the energy. But you have to be respectful.
Yeah.
You can't be stupid. You can't think you know it all. And you have to approach all the conversations that way. And you never ever question. I mean, it was finally interesting enough that years later, we had a conversation and he's asked about this and asked about that, and I give him all the answer. I thought about it. He said, okay, so he said, the student has become the teacher. He says, now you're fine. So that was years later. It wasn't immediate. But that was a compliment to get to that stage. You didn't get to that stage by not being slapped around a few times. There was a few times where he didn't physically slap me around, but by the lesson, by what he would say, by what he would do, I'd go home and say, I just got slapped. And I didn't realize it until after I left. So I'd go back the next time we got together and I would re-engage, just making sure. But as you said, you know, being a mentor is about teaching you how to do things differently. Mm-hmm. When you hire someone, you don't hire someone because he does things the right way, 10 different ways, the 10 exact ways that everybody else does. You hire him for that 11th and 12th and 13th way of doing something that no one else has thought. You have to be smarter, different. You have to press the issue. You have to go above and beyond. That's what it's about for him. That's what it was about for him.
And for you.
And for me, yeah. And so it's been good. You know, we don't do things here without qualifying an issue, without quantifying an issue before we execute. You've got to qualify and quantify the hell out of everything. And that goes to relationships too. Mm-hmm. You've got to qualify and quantify every relationship. And I don't mean financially. You've got to qualify it in different ways. It's a relationship. It's not about money. But you qualify it. You're always aware whether the person is okay with what's going on and not just shove it down someone's throat.
The trust and the intimacy that a good relationship creates is incredibly valuable. Thank you.